Good morning, Miss Marcano. I'm here with your breakfast. Let's freshen this room up. Get some of that sunlight in here. That's better.
Mafia III, the long-in-development sequel to Mafia II, takes players to the dangerous criminal underworld of New Bordeaux, a city based on New Orleans. Set in 1968, it tells the story of Lincoln Clay, a young, biracial Vietnam veteran who returns home to find the only family he ever had and his city in shambles. Armed with unfailing charisma and a burning desire for revenge, Lincoln sets out to take down the Mafia, dismantling it arm by arm in an effort to make it all his own.
I watched you stab Ellis in the gut. I couldn't do nothing about it then, but I sure as hell can now. Oh, God damn it!
What is immediately apparent about Mafia III is that it takes its time world building. Mafia III opens up on protagonist Lincoln Clay, detailing his background, family life, and the circumstances of his turn to crime. The game details relationships with lengthy cutscenes and several missions in which these people work together. When Lincoln does finally go off the rails, his vow of revenge feels real and justified thanks to the time spent in the narrative building up the plot. At this stage in Lincoln's story, Mafia III really opens up. Missions can be completed in any order and in a variety of different ways. Each has its own long list of objectives to complete, but you don't necessarily have to tick off every box. You can pick and choose these objectives to complete in any order, and sometimes succeeding at only a handful will open up the way to the final task, often a boss fight with a major character. Taking down this notorious criminal means completing the mission, and you won't have the opportunity to go back and complete the rest of the smaller objectives. For someone who wants to 100% the game, there's a lot to tackle. However, if you're a more reserved player, don't worry. You'll be able to whittle down that to-do list after only a few hits, if you tend to go straight for higher value targets.
Hey, look, cool it. I don't want no trouble.
Trouble? Ain't no trouble here.
During my hands-on time with a recent demo, I spent some time tracking down a target through the bayou and also busting up a prostitution ring. Both missions had their own unique objectives and brought me into the line of fire with very different people. The places, too, in which I fought my battles were entertaining in how varied and cool they were. One took place on a sinking riverboat in the dark depths of the bayou, and another brought me into the fancier part of town, busting trapped girls out of seedy hotel rooms. These environments add to New Bordeaux's personality, and after checking out a few, I got the sense of just how big and shady Mafia III's setting really is. But while Mafia III's New Bordeaux is very similar to New Orleans, it's not quite an exact copy. The studio didn't want to lift New Orleans wholesale because they wanted to keep the Mafia series in fictional cities. The city of New Orleans is very flat and there's not a lot of elevation, which means creating an entertaining driving system would be challenging and also a bit boring. So, New Bordeaux differs from its real-world counterpart in this, with more beautiful vistas, cresting hills, and less one-way streets packed with parked cars. Driving felt fluid, and I enjoyed spending time in my car, listening to the radio and taking in the sights of the city on my way to the next hit. The other excellent thing about Mafia III's wrapper is its soundtrack. It's thrilling to hear Paint It Black or I Fought the Law as you flee the scene, or get a chance to play with the radio as you drive through town in the dead of night. The soundtrack, made up of songs from the 1960s, adds a strong sense of time and place to Mafia III.
He's gonna...
We only have a few short weeks left before Mafia III hits store shelves. What are you most looking forward to in Mafia III? Let us know in the comments and stay tuned to GameSpot.com for more Mafia news.
Just decent thing would be to let a man get in a prayer before you kill him.
You can pray on the way up.